protesters were arrested and brought to this police station here following the demonstration at City Hall. The $500 million plan includes a video board in left field. Hundreds of onlookers watched the veterans throw away their medals. Two men attempted to rob a 27-year-old man at this Red Line CTA stop. Currently, 2 schools have already made teacher evaluations available to students. Authorities are still digging up remains left by convicted serial killer John Wayne Gacy. The first day of the NATO summit, veterans took to the streets of Chicago protesting the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. DePaul student Jonathan Anderson was a sergeant in the U.S. Marines. Anderson, who was deployed to Iraq twice, says he was lied to about the war.
We were told we were going over there for the Iraqi people, but when we went over there, we were against the Iraqi people.
Mary Kirkland marched with Anderson and the other veterans. Kirkland is not a veteran, but is closely tied to the vets. During his second tour in Iraq, her son, 23-year-old Derek Kirkland, committed suicide.
I truly thought that once my son got home on American soil, he was safe. And the leadership there at Fort Lewis did not protect him.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson wants people to respect the statement the veterans are making by returning the medals.
These guys and ladies volunteered for the military, and they are painfully rejecting the idea of more war.
He marched hand in hand with Kirkland during the parade. The parade concluded here at Michigan and Cermak, where hundreds of onlookers watched the veterans throw away their medals. One by one, veterans took the stage explaining why they're giving the medals back.
Corruption and abuse of young men and women who forced to defend their country.
We will bring it to an end because another world is possible. We are unstoppable. We are unstoppable.
For Good Day DePaul, I'm Angelica Robinson. Although there's been a drop in crime on the CTA, cell phones are still a hot commodity for thieves on trains and buses.
I mean, they're easy targets. They're not suspecting. They're trying to get home. They've had a long day, or they're about to have a long day.
The CTA recently launched an ad campaign to promote safety and awareness for passengers. They've also added more than 1,500 security cameras at transit stops across the city.
Don't go too far.
Miguel Fuentes is the head of a volunteer crime-stopping organization, the Guardian Angels. He says most of the crimes on the L are committed right as the train is pulling into the station.
Snatch and grabs, pistol whippings, robberies usually just happen right before. So they snatch and then they run out the train.
2 men attempted to rob a 27-year-old man at this Red Line CTA stop, but a group of Guardian Angels came to his rescue.
Thank you for riding the CTA Red Line.
Fuentes was one of the men patrolling the Clark and Division stop that night.
Right before the doors opened, he pulled out a gun and started pistol whipping the passenger, snatched his iPhone.
The 4 volunteers wrestled the perpetrator to the ground, but an accomplice came from behind and stabbed Fuentes in the arm. Despite the continued efforts of law enforcement and the CTA, Fuentes says it's important for passengers to remain alert during their commute.
The CTA does what it can, but people have to take more responsibility for their actions too.
For Good Day DePaul, I'm Angelica Robinson. Much of the drama played out just blocks from DePaul's Loop campus, with thousands of picketing teachers blocking the streets outside public school headquarters. Here at DePaul, I found that some teachers in the College of Education use the strike as a learning opportunity for students.
Negotiations have been intense but productive. However, we have failed to reach an agreement that will prevent a labor strike.
September 10th marked day 1 of the Chicago teacher strike, the first in 25 years.
I am disappointed that we have come to this point, given that even all the other parties acknowledge how close we are, because this is a strike of choice.
Thousands of Chicago public school teachers did not report to the classroom, but to a picket line on Monday as they went on strike over wages, working conditions, and teacher evaluations.
What do we want? A fair contract. When do we want it? Now!
They're calling for fixing things that go way beyond a salary structure. to ensure the health of the profession and, of course, in turn, the health of the children.
Students in Andrea Kane Kaufman's class know firsthand the challenges Chicago teachers face.
A lot of my students are CTU members, so they were wearing red, and they had picket signs in the back of my classroom.
Kaufman is using the book Getting to Yes to teach her students the way to handle conflict negotiations.
Our College of Education at DePaul really teaches students, trains students, empowers students to be voices of reason, voices of change, voices of constructive change.
For some at DePaul, the strike was very personal. Many of our graduates have taught in Chicago public schools, and DePaul has also created programs for training science and math teachers at those schools. The issue at DePaul is clear-cut. The Student Government Association, the SGA, wants teacher evaluations made available to students.
Ultimately, the rationale is to improve or augment the student voice in faculty tenure and promotion processes.
SGA will be making a proposal to each college asking faculty to do a pilot program, starting with the College of Education this month.
But if faculty weren't happy with the way it was going, then it could be revoked, but the idea would be to try it out for a year.
Some faculty members are concerned with making the evaluations public. Teacher evaluations are currently seen by administrators and can be used in hiring, promoting, and salary decisions. DePaul professor Ewan Haig points out that there are laws preventing teachers from accessing a student's previous grades.
The FERPA law, Federal Education Privacy Rights Act, means I cannot pull your grades for the last 3 quarters. So I have no idea how you perform my class. It's a blank slate, okay? You come into my class, I see how you do, I judge you on your performance. Doesn't a faculty member have that right?
One student feels making evaluations public would mean students would pick favorites.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, the unbalance, and students trying to choose the teachers with the highest rating.
Another student points out there are alternative ways to learn about professors.
I think it's nice, but I think there are other sources for students like ratemyprofessor.com and things like that to get a better idea and a student perspective.
Currently, 2 schools have already made teacher evaluations available to students, the College of Computing and Digital Media and the Law School. The debate still continues on if others will do the same. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Angelica Robinson.